Hello everyone. In this session we'll discuss the topic complex function. So we have seen functions of real values like x, let's say y, or is equal to function of x where x was real. So this was a real valued function. Similarly, for a complex variable, let's say z equal to x plus iy, where this both x and y belong to real. So this is known as the real part of z, and this is known as the real imaginary part of z. So from this variable, a function, let's say w is equal to f of z, can be formed, which will be a function of the variable which is complex and it is z. So if we start putting z in the function as x plus iy, there are chances that we will get another function in terms of y, one which will be the real part and the another one which will be the imaginary part. So this function w can be given as u plus iv, where u and v are going to be function of x and y, right? So now this will be the real part and this will be the imaginary part of the complex variable function. And now we can also find the limit for this. So far we have seen in the single valued function, that was real functions. In that case, when x tends to x naught, the function used to tends to some certain value. But if we are talking about limits of the complex variable, the z will be tending to some value z naught, and obviously this z naught will contain both x and y components, which means x should be tending to x naught and y should tends to y naught. That means in the case of single variable, it was approaching the x naught from a single curve, whereas in this case of complex variable, z naught can be approached from many numbers of curves approaching towards the z naught, so that we can have different values of x and different values of y and such combinations which will be approaching z naught, right? Because it will be a z naught, like let's see this is, let's say this is z naught, so it has y, it has x. So if you want to approach this z naught, you can approach it from this side, this side, this side, this side, this side, any side, right? So that means that, and how do you say that you have approached this point z naught? You can say this by the radial distance from the point z naught. So if you are within a certain small radial distance between this z naught, you have, or you are approaching z naught from the z plane, right? So in that case, it is said, as z approaches z naught, which is a point on z plane, if f of z approaches some L, then we can say that the limit exists. So this can also be written as, for z minus z naught less than some del, which is a positive small value, if f of z minus L approaches, or it is less than some positive value epsilon, which is a real positive value, then we can say that the limit of f of z for z tends to z naught is given as L, right? So the point is, when you are approaching z naught, let's say this is your z plane and you are approaching z naught, then correspondingly for the w plane, this f of z should approach some value L. Let's say this is L, so it should be approaching, or it should keep coming closer to the L, and you can say the radial distance will be less than the epsilon. Similarly, when you are approaching z naught, the radial distance is going to be less than this del, right? So this is how you can find this, and in this case you will have to check for, like, if you are breaking it into x and y, you will have to make sure that x is approaching that value and y is also approaching that value, right? Like in this case, let's say x is alpha, or let's say it is x naught, and similarly y is approaching y naught, because when z approaches z naught, x must be approaching some value and y must be approaching some value, right? So in that case, you will have to, if you are breaking it into x and y, the limits into x and y, you will have to see that x is, when x is approaching x naught, y is also approaching y naught, because if both are not approaching the same point, then it is not approaching the z naught, and similarly the function value may not be approaching that value L, right? How about continuity then? Continuity can also be found by the conditions like f of z for z tends to z naught should exist, and let's say f of z naught should also exist, and f of z for z tends to z naught should be equal to f of z naught, right? Then only we can say that function of z is continuous at z equal to z naught. So that the point is, like we have seen the limits, similarly in the continuity the function has the condition that the limit should exist, the function should be defined at that value, and then these two values should be same, right? Then only we can say that the function has continuity at that point. Other than that, let's say for w is equal to f of z equal to u of x y plus I times of v of x y. Let's say it is defined in region R. Then if f of z is continuous at z naught, let's say it has the components x naught and y naught, then it must have continuous u x y and v x y at z naught. So this means then that if we are saying that f of z is continuous at that point, at certain point, then its real part and its imaginary part, both of these real and imaginary part, should also be continuous at that point z naught, right? That means, because when we are talking for a function to be continuous, it has, I mean, we cannot mix its real and imaginary part. We cannot do any operations between them, right? So they are like independent from each other, and in that case, when we are saying the function is independent, then if we are saying the function is continuous, then its real and imaginary part both are supposed to be continuous, and the converse is also true. So conversely, if u xy and v xy are continuous at z naught, let's say x naught and y naught, then f of z is also continuous at z naught. So the converse is also true, which means if function is continuous, the real and imaginary part u and v must be continuous, and the converse is if u and v, the real and imaginary parts, are continuous, then definitely the function will also be continuous. Also, for a function, let's say f of z, still the derivative is given by f dash z naught is equal to limit z tends to z naught for f of z minus f of z naught by z minus z naught. This is how the derivative is given, f of z minus f of z naught by z minus z naught, where z tends to z naught. And if this exists, then f of z is differentiable at z equal to z naught, right? If this limit exists, that is the derivative is existing in this case for z equal to z naught, then in that case we say that the function is differentiable at z equal to z naught, right? And this derivative is given as f dash of z equal to du by dx plus I times of dv by dx, or otherwise it is given as dv by dy minus I times of du by dy. So either way we can use and we can find the derivative of this function. And a function, if it is continuous in certain range and it has the derivative or it is differentiable in that range, then we say that the function is analytic, right?